All right, so we are doing exponential growth and decay. And from here, we are going to be writing those equations. So last time we talked a lot about what is exponential growth, what is decay, if I'm adding a percentage, if I'm subtracting a percentage, all of that's going on. We're going to do some stuff with it. So continuing from last time, we're going to find the multiplier for each scenario. So if I have 95% decay, I'm going to take my 100% and subtract my 95% because decay means subtract. So our multiplier is going to be it's going to be 5%, which as a decimal is 0.05 because that's how much it is out of 100. So if something's doubled, that's an easy multiplier. You're just multiplying by 2. If it's a 37% increase, we're going to take our 100% and add, because we're increasing, 37%. So we'll have 137%. This as a decimal is 1.37. Okay? Right here, quartered, is we're cutting it into quarters, so we're going to fourth it. And 200% growth, that's actually kind of fun. We've got our 100%, then we're adding 200%, and we get 300%, which as a decimal is just 3. So they could have said tripled. I don't know why they didn't, but here we are. All right. So let's take a look at some of these equations. So remember, A naught means initial amount or starting amount, how much we start with, times r to the x. R being our rate, x being the amount of time that has passed. Okay. So our formula, if you find the rate as a percent, if we're adding it, it means there was growth. If we're subtracting it, it means there was decay. Hopefully you've picked up on that. So let's take a look at these next couple. So right here, we have Spider-Man has a #1 comic, and he paid, you have a Spider-Man comic, and you paid $500 for it. So that means my initial amount is $500. If the comic's value increases by 5% a year, so that means my rate is going to be 100% plus 5%. So that's 105%, which as a decimal, I should put equals there. As a decimal is 1.05. That's important. So then we're going to have time. So our A naught, so y equals our starting value times our multiplier 1.05 to the time. So there's our equation. We're going to figure out how much it is after 10 years. So we're going to do y equals 500 times 1.05 to the 10th. All right, and we get $814 and 45 cents. But what if we wanted to change it to 20 years? And I've already typed this into my Google. So I'm going to change this from 10 to 20 years. And you might be thinking it's going to double, but it's not. It's actually a little more than double. Not a lot more than double, just a little more. Okay, and we've got $1,326 and 65 cents. So that turned into a very lucrative process there. All right, let's take a look at this next one. So you buy a brand new car for $16,000. When I bought a sort of new car, it was about that much. So if the value of the car depreciates by 8%, so depreciate, is that adding or subtracting? Subtracting. Okay, so our starting value of the car is $16,000. And it's depreciating, so it's subtracting 100% minus the 8%. So then we have 92%, which is 0.92. So our multiplier is 0.92. So it's depreciating every 6 months. So remember that. So how many 6 months are in 7 years? There are 14 of those. How many 6 months are in 17 years? So let's take 17. So 2 6 months happen in a period. So we've got 17 times 2. And that's 34 6-month periods. So we'll figure out what this is. So after 7 years, how much is the car worth? So the car is going to be worth our 16,000 times our 0.92 to the, and then we're going to do 14th first. So we're going to take handy dandy little calculator. We've got 16,000. We're going to do times 0.92 to the 14th. And we get $4,979.09. That's how much your car is worth after 7 years. Ooh, that's not so great. So then let's do y equals, then we've got our 16,000. We're doing after 17 years now. So we're going to do 0.92. And then this will be to the 34th. So all I have to do is come over here, change my 14, so it says a 34. And our car, after 17 years, is only worth $939.52. That's not so great, but it's not the worst. You could still sell it for almost $1,000 17 years later. That's not bad. All right. Okay, let's do one more together, and you guys are going to do a couple on your own. So, you shook your friend's hand and got 300 particles of COVID-19 virus. If the bacteria doubles every 10 minutes, it doesn't. This is not real. This is not real at all. Okay, if the bacteria doubles every 10 minutes, how many bacteria will be on your hands if you don't wash them for an hour? So that's 60 minutes. And then in 3 hours. So first off, what's our starting amount of bacteria? 300. That's not too bad. They're very small. Okay. And what's our rate? What's happening every time? It's doubling. So our rate is 2. So now, it doubles every 10 minutes. So how many 10 minutes are in an hour? There are 6 10 minutes an hour. How many 10 minutes are in 3 hours? 18. 18 10 minutes are in 3 hours. So, let's see what happens. So my equation now is y equals our starting amount times 2. And then we're going to do to 6 first. And then we'll have y equals our starting amount times 2. And then we'll do 18 second. Okay, so we come over here to our handy dandy Google calculator. We do 300 times 2 to the 6th. And we have 19,200 bacteria after an hour. That's a lot. Please wash your hands, people. Even though this isn't real, still it's gross. Okay, now we change the 6 to an 18. We hit enter. Oh, that's a lot. 78643,200. So 78,643,200. That is not the worst. It could be much, much worse. It's not great, though. 78 million bacteria? That's a lot. All right. So that was our beautiful thing. Now I want you guys to go ahead and do this one. You're investing $900 in a bank account. You're getting 8% annually. How much will you have after 60 years? Assuming you don't add anything and you don't take anything out, because that would complicate the problem. Okay, and then if you have an iPhone, whatever that is, and it depreciates 23% quarterly every 3 months. That's what that means. If you paid that much for it, how much is it worth after 4 years if it doesn't break it? And then this last one, the amount of uranium you have is halved, or cut in half, every 2 years. You start with 120 pounds. How much will you have after 16 years? Once you finish those, write your recap. You're doing amazing. I hope you're having an amazing day.